What's up? I see y'all popping tall early this morning. I see we got Sylvia Witt Kelly. See we got Definition of Essence in the house. See we got all the fam in the house. What's the business? What's popping with y'all? Yeah, let's get this morning started. What's up, David Dorsey? Welcome to the family. Welcome, David Dorsey, to the family. What's up, Mary Beanie, Freak Dogs Flair? What's popping with y'all? Yeah, we're about to have a nice little time. We're about to see if this Mercedes is outfitted with these Aero Rakes is going to be doing something worth doing. By the way, got something right here. Wanted to open it up on the channel. We're going to, I'm going to see about how to set up a place for you all to come, but I'm going to do a break. And if you're interested in the break, then you will be able to come to the channel where I set it up and do the break, participate in the break, get your team spots, and whatever comes out of this, we'll see how we're going to make that happen. But you'll be able to get your team spots and participate in this. I thought this would be cool for us to do. I still got to take some time to set it up, so it's not going to be like right after, like, or quick, but we are going to do it. I got right here, tops right here. All right, 2021 tops, Formula One. Trading cards, we will do it where we'll see who we're going to get, who we're going to pull. So I thought that would be cool for us to do. But yeah, right there, 2021 tops, F1 trading cards, exclusive cards, and trading cards in Formula One. We're going to be looking for all type of relic cards and stuff like that. So be prepared and be ready for that. Always trying to do something different. Always trying to do something cool for the fam, for us to be involved in. So we got that. I also will be looking for a Topps Chrome edition as well. So that's something that we're going to be doing at some point in time. So go ahead and we'll just put that right there. But yeah, look forward to us pulling up on that a little bit. So how y'all doing this morning? Y'all ready? I'm ready to see if this Mercedes is actually going to bring some type of life to Mercedes fans. If it's actually going to compete well. If it's actually going to be what it should be, given what we've seen the last 2 years, it's been pretty bad for Mercedes. Now even worse to a degree, to know that, you know, the Mercedes might not be out on track. So that's not always, you know, always a good thing. But we'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. I see Felipe Drugovich right there in his Aston Martin shirt, so that's cool. Felipe doing his thing. So let's see who else is actually going to be up on the hub and be doing their thing as well. So, you know, I know we got Boy George sitting up here, and he ain't the best that people want to see, but he is what's next for Mercedes. Of course, we want to see what Daniel, Rick, and Yuki will end up doing. See how they're going to perform for their teams. See how Yuki's going to perform for this coming up season. We know we got Mikeys, we got people that have switched teams as far as organizational roles, so we're going to see how that's going to play out as well. No cars out on track at the moment, so we'll see what happens with that. But I'd like to know how y'all feel about this season already getting started, already starting out. What are you expecting to see from some of your teams? Maybe it's not Mercedes, maybe it's not Ferrari, maybe it's not McLaren, maybe it's Alpine, you know, maybe it's Haas, which would be very unfortunate for you, but hey. You know, if you like to rock out with the ones who really you can't count on and don't know where they really from or where they going to be or how they going to conduct themselves, I guess, you know, hey, everybody's got a team. You know, good old Ted Kravitz is back. We're going to see what kind of stuff he stirs up. You know, a lot of people have their boards up right now. A lot of people have their blocking boards up. Red Bull has a new board in the pit that looks pretty good. We got our first car going out on track. And let's see who we got pulling out. It looked like I saw Mercedes right there with some Aero Rakes. So hopefully Mercedes is going to do their thing. But I did see a Mercedes outfitted with Aero Rakes. We got an Aston Martin now coming out on track. So that's cool. Waiting to see this new Kick car. Waiting to see this new Kick Sauber car since they done went and did the whole damn livery. Very loud, very proud. And I hope it's something that they actually going to be able to produce some actual type of performance. That's what I'm looking for. Actual performance from this team, given they have this loud ass color scheme. So I'm hoping that that's on point as well. What we got? We got a super chat. OG Zilla, good early morning, fam. It is early, bro. We're trying to see what these times gonna be looking like. We're trying to see what these times gonna be looking like, man. Merc, I ain't gonna lie, the Kick Sarber car actually look decent out there. It doesn't look bad. Honestly, it really doesn't look bad. So I'm really, that's cool. I thought it would look worse than that out on track, but it really doesn't look bad. So for our early morning session, right now for our early morning session anyway, we have Alpine with Esty. We got Fernando Alonso out. We got Charles Leclerc out, which is going to be cool because we want to see what that Ferrari is going to do. We also have, let's see who else we have out there. We also have K-Mag out for Haas. We got George Russell out for Mercedes, Oscar Piastri out for McLaren, Red Bull, the little Red Bull team, which is Yuki, which is crazy to think about this name situation. We got Valtteri out for Sauber, and we got Alex Albon, the man who saved Williams' season last season, out for Williams. Want to see what he's going to do. OG Zilla, big shout out for that super chat. This season, we will be doing something a little bit different with super chats that we did in the off season. Certain super chats through a certain period. I'll wait for enough of them to collect up, and then we'll have a auction or a giveaway for something, giving people through the super chats. That way, it's some kind of give back throughout the season on a nice little basis. But we got this RB20 out here that have taken a little bit of Mercedes technology or design. We're going to see how that car is going to perform. In some ways, we feel as if that car could end up being plagued with the similar things that Mercedes was plagued with, but we have a reason not to think that, given that Adrian Newey has been pretty awesome at his job. So let's just keep it real. Adrian Newey's been pretty awesome at his job. Ooh, got a picture of that Mercedes out. So I'm going to bring that up. For you all. The Mercedes does look pretty damn good right now. I do like the livery. I'm feeling the livery. I think the livery is a pretty dope livery. So I think that that's actually nice. Now we just got to see how nice is the car actually going to perform. That's what we want to see. That's what we're hoping to see, right? How well is this car actually going to perform? And is it actually going to do what it should do for not only Lewis Hamilton his last season with Mercedes, but George Russell going into being the guy that's going to be heading up with Mercedes, right? Because George Russell's the man now. So he's going to have to take the blunt of all that work. He's going to have to take all the criticism when it doesn't work well. All of that stuff he's going to have to do. Lewis Hamilton is not going to be there anymore to save him or hold his hand or any of this other stuff that he may have been doing prior to. All of that stuff is done with. Bro is done with all that. So yeah, but I'm hoping that he does perform well, but at the same time, I feel like George may have put himself in a position where people are not going to just blankly say, hey, if he performs well, he does, but if he doesn't, it's cool. No, it's not cool. Given everything that we know happened in the 2023 season, it's not cool. He's going to have to do a lot more than just be cool. He's going to have to do a lot more than just be cool. And that's all on George's fault. That's all on George's shoulders right now. He chose to wear that bag. So we'll see what happens, but I'm going to bring this picture in because I do think it's a nice picture, definitely for sure. I think it's a nice picture of Mercedes with the Aero Rakes. And I like how you can still see the black and you don't quite see the silver yet, but you know that it's there. Sylvia Week, each team has both drivers out today apart from Merck, Red Bull. Yeah, the first session right now is who we have, and that's who we got up for the first session. We got Russell all day and Max all day. And that teams do things differently. If this is your first time watching testing, teams do things differently. And with them doing things differently, you never know what drivers you're going to see. Sometimes you might see the schedule and they're going to end up changing that schedule. It just depends on what they want to do. But Max might be out all day and we might not even see him again for testing. And that's just real. We might not even see Max again for testing anymore for the rest of the whole session because Max has done that. It's not nothing that's uncommon for Max to do. But I'm saying that Mercedes is fresh though. That Mercedes is fresh though. That thing is clean as a whistle. I mean, of course, it's clean as a whistle for real, but I actually enjoy the way that they pulled off this livery. And if you don't know, Christian Horner, of course, is up for within an investigation due to his inappropriate behavior. I hope he gets the penalty that he deserves because he should. And if you've done things like that where you have made somebody feel uncomfortable in the workspace, I hope you get it. Now, I would like to point this out. We're trying to see if this is actually going to be productive for Mercedes. Okay, they have this nice little dip that's going to catch this air. Of course, in this picture, you don't see the cord that attaches to the nose to make that last flap, that last cord, as thin and more like the W12, I believe. But we're going to see how those things go. Of course, teams are going to protest things, and things are going to either get denied or not. So that also will be something that we'll be looking to see how that also goes as far as teams trying to put protest on other team developments. So that also will be very interesting to see how that turns out. So, you know, these are all the things that we're going to be looking for this time around to see how it's going to go, who's going to be what. Now, we did have the driver rankings that we had come in. You know, we said what drivers went up and what down in the off season. So now we want to see how these drivers are going to perform this season up. Right now, you got Leclerc and Russell at the top of the charts, which right now really doesn't mean much. None of this really means much, but I can tell you right now, I do see a little bit of bobbing on George Russell's helmet from the T-cam as he's going down that straight. So I'm hoping they're not running into a porpoising situation. I'm hoping more that's just the characteristics of the track on that portion that he was in, on that sector that he was in. But trust me, anybody that's porpoising at this point in time, it's going to be voiced pretty damn loud. People are really going to be voicing loud about the whole porpoising thing. That's going to be something that's going to be definitely heard, seen, reported about. I know people were kind of wondering if Red Bull might be doing some porpoising. Could happen, given they took some of the Mercedes development. So we're going to watch out for that. Freak Dogs Flair with the super chat says, watching out for Mercedes, and I'm hoping they can have a fast car. It seems as if Mercedes seems flat and level. Some porpoising. That's what I just said that, Freak Dogs Flair. I just said that. It does seem like they have a little bit of porpoising going on. So that right there is something that we want to see. We definitely want them to do a bit better this season, given what we've seen the last two seasons that have been, it's been horrible. It hasn't been nice. So, you know, we'll see what they actually do this season. We're going to go ahead and bring this up. Notice there's not a lot of team colors, but we only care about the top three. We only care about the top three. As far as sector times and all of that stuff, we only care about the top three right now. And as you see, Alex Alonso is right now top in the sector 1. Alonso's top in sector 2. Russell is at the finish line, and Russell is at the speed trap at 297. We want to see what that Red Bull is going to do with Verstappen, and that does give us some sense of a real temperature of where the team is, because Max should be pushing at least at some point in time during this morning session. Max should be pushing to try to see what the car can actually do. I know he's probably going to be eager to see what it actually will do. OG Zilla in the super chat said, I seen the Ferrari bouncing too. I think the track is bumpy. And that could be. And this has been a track that's been like that in certain areas. Freak Dogs Flare, actually, I think that might be the section of the track. Everywhere else seems good. Cool. And that's what I was just speaking to. McLaren is pulling into the pits. Look like they're about to pull it up and roll it up real quick. No, he pulls back out. So evidently Mick came in for some type of quick adjustment and right back out of there. He's right back out of there. I think this officially is when the season starts. This is officially where we get excited and start seeing, engaging. Are these teams really what we hope they will be? And not even just us. Are these teams where they want to be? This is dead serious. Are these teams where they want to be? We already know that McLaren during their car launch had spoke to the fact that they felt that they, not that they felt, but they actually did not have some of the things ready that they had planned to have ready. So we do know that about McLaren. McLaren definitely has spoke about that in their launch, that some of the things that they had hoped to have done, they didn't have done. And now we want to see, are those things going to be very critical to their performance? So big shout out Freak Dogs Flair for the super chat. Big shout out Sylvia Witt Kelly joining me this early, and the rest of the fam, Mary Beanie, OG Zilla. Big shout out to y'all, because it's 2 o'clock in the morning on this side. There go the little Red Bull car. The little Red Bull car is getting some cool off. They checking some elements. They checking the beam wing. They checking to make sure things are straight. I'm not gonna lie, the Red Bull Visa Cash App car, that livery is kind of, it's all right. I think it could grow on me. It almost has the essence of, and they're running the boomerang. They're running the boomerang on their Halo, okay, which is something that Mercedes definitely is known for running. But their livery is almost kind of IndyCar essence to me. Red Bull Visa Cash App. Well, I'm not gonna keep saying that. I'm just gonna say RBCV or RB2. I'm just gonna say the RB2, not like it's the car, but the little RB team definitely has a livery that's more like IndyCar-esque to me. It could grow on me. Is it the RB Visa? Is it AlphaTauri or RB? I am confused, right? And I think everybody's going to be confused. Freak Dogs Flair, like what is this team called? What is the real what is the purpose of this even this team being called that? Like, why did they do that anyway? I have no idea why they did that, besides for the fact I felt Red Bull was just making it known that we don't care anymore. They're going to let us get away with what we want to get away with. It is indeed another Red Bull car, and a lot of people don't like it, but we don't give a damn, and that's how I felt. They pretty much said. We got some photos of the McLaren car we're going to bring in here, so we'll bring those in as well. So let's go ahead and bring in the McLaren car, actually with the Aero Rakes. I like to see the Aero Rakes. The Aero Rakes to me are pretty nice. OG Zilla said, did you see the Racing Bull icon on the timing board? Interesting. Hey, man. Everything is interesting when it comes to Red Bull, because we know that there are definitely some suspect things that have been going on that include Red Bull. So nothing surprises me, but it is very interesting anytime these things happen. So, that's all I got to say about that. We'll see what's up. We're going to make sure we bring in the picture of the McLaren on the Aero race as well. Go ahead and bring that up for you all right now as we're already sitting here. Let me go ahead and bring that in so you all can see that. Boom. So there we go. We can go ahead. We'll get rid of Christian Horner. There's the McLaren right there with the Aero Rakes on it. Right here you had, of course, you got Christian. You got the you got that. And then we had the Mercedes looking pretty damn good. So I like McLaren's livery really didn't do nothing for me. I thought they would have done something a little bit better than that. I thought McLaren would have definitely came a little better than that. I felt like McLaren would have came a little better than that, but to me they kind of, I ain't saying this. It's not whack. It's just McLaren. It's just the papaya car from last season. I thought they would have done something a little bit more, honestly, in my opinion, but I guess it is what it is. Teams do what they want to do. They have their reasons. They don't have to always come out with something flying, popping. They can come out with what they want to come out with, but I just felt they would have came a little bit harder than that, but I guess not. So I was a little bit disappointed in the McLaren's livery. So, we'll see how it goes from here, but I ain't gonna lie, I was a little bit like, I thought y'all were gonna do something a little bit better than that, but I guess not. So it is what it is. But there's McLaren right there sitting pretty nice. So that's cool. I do think, let me see what else we might be able to bring in right here. Yeah, we could take those guys out. All right. So we do got Max Verstappen back in the garage. They all on board with Kick Sauber. Let's go ahead and bring the timing board back up so you all can see that. Freak Dogs Player says the insignias for Red Bull and RB they are using on the timesheet is not going to be confusing at all. Not the sarcasm. Yeah. So, on the timing sheet that definitely helps because they don't know how to put it up there any other way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have RB and something else. They don't know how to put up there anyway. So that's definitely a better way to do that. So I'm on board with that if that's what they're going to do. They definitely need to do something to separate the two because I'm telling you that whole thing is a mess, honestly. That whole thing is a mess. Got a better, hopefully a better, closer shot here of the McLaren with the Aero Rakes in it. So let me go ahead and bring that into view for you all as well. So let's bring that up. People are definitely funny with this entire season. A lot of people seem to think that Red Bull might go for another one. And I'm not saying they're wrong for thinking that. Based on what happened last season, it kind of makes you feel as if what are teams going to do to stop it? But like I told you all before, I felt there was going to come some point in time where Red Bull were going to stumble. I did say that, and this could be where they stumble. Taking bits of the Mercedes could put them in a similar situation as Mercedes when they were going about their situation, when they were going into this whole slim pod design. So sometimes you got to be careful about the things you do. OG Zilla says 2023 test fast lap, 1 minute, 31 seconds. Yuki Tsunoda. Hey, what do we know about the new AlphaTauri? What do we know about AlphaTauri? I'm just gonna call this team AlphaTauri. What do we know about them? We know that they got a plethora of hand downs. Basically, they're in an RB19. That's what we know about AlphaTauri. They're in an RB19. And so there have already been complaints or discretion voiced against that because people feel as if that's not how that should be. That's not absolutely clean for them to do. And they already don't like the structure of Red Bull with AlphaTauri because it's basically like it's not even basically. It factually is Red Bull having 2 teams, 4 drivers, and 4 cars on grid. And so Zach Brown has spoken out about this, and that it is a problem. And I do believe firmly that it is a conflict of interest. And I don't agree with it. And I think the FIA should step in and do something about it. But that also goes to show how we don't trust the FIA in regards to Red Bull, given what we've seen in the past. Well, a lot of people don't. I'm not going to speak for everybody. A lot of people don't trust them as far as what they've done in the past with Red Bull. And so I don't think that there's going to be anything that we'll see that will be different here as far as what they do. All right. So there we go. We got a nice Mercedes out there on track right now, looking pretty damn clean with the Aero Rakes. I do like that. So that's a clean picture. There we go right here. Nice Mercedes out there on track doing his thing. George Russell, the livery is fire. I'm waiting to see the first team that's going to pull out the Flo-Viz. That's going to be pretty awesome. So I'm waiting to see that. I want to see the team that's going to pull out the Flo-Viz first. I'm telling you right now, Flo-Viz, I don't know what it is about the Flo-Viz, but I like to see Flo-Viz. I like to see Flo-Viz. I'm a fan of the Flo-Viz when it comes out. You know what I'm saying? I like to see that because I like to see how the air is moving across the body of the car. And Flo-Viz is giving us an opportunity to check that out, visually see it. And a lot of times you can see already when some of these teams come out and that Flo-Viz is all over the place and it's swirling and you got gaps and you don't have nice streams of it moving. You already know, even from a person who's not an engineer, visually we can see that that's not right, especially if you know how it's supposed to look. You know that that's not right. Freak Dog Flair says, why can't Mario Andretti's team be on the grid, but the RB, hey, even more so than that, Freak Dogs Flair, but the RB 2.0 team can. Even more so than that, bro, why can't Andretti be on the grid, but Haas has consistently and still been on the grid, and they're not a competitive team? That's even more of something that, to me, that's egregious. Like you have a team out there that has not really been competitive since what, 2016, something like that, 2016, 15 or something. They haven't been competitive for some time. Why not give another team an opportunity to compete? I don't understand where the big deal is with that. Give another team an opportunity to compete so we can see what they're going to do and see how much likeness and how much of a different demographic and different fan base they can bring to the sport. Haas is topped out. Haas' ceiling is in play, and a lot of people already consider the fact that, or already at least think to some degree that Gene Haas is not even fully vested in the team, that he's not even really doing what needs to be done so the team can be competitive. And this is why I say that I think that they need to show us every season. They should show us, what are these teams doing to be competitive? How much of the cost cap have they used so that we can see how much money they actually spent in the team to make the team competitive? And I'd be willing to bet, gentlemen's bet, I'd be willing to bet that they haven't done much. Gene Haas hasn't done much. That's what I would be willing to bet, is he hasn't done much. He hasn't put a lot in the team, that he's probably the lowest. And I mean, these teams have that money within the cost cap to spend up. It's not like the cost cap is there so smaller teams can stay within the fight financially, because before there was no cost cap and teams had a blank check and could run it up. So why aren't you using as much of the cost cap as you can to make your team competitive? So I'm more about switch Haas for Andretti. You still got 10 teams. The pie doesn't get cut up any more slices, and see what they can do. Evaluate them through that season. But I think people are tired of seeing Haas. I don't think anybody's raving about Haas being on the grid. I don't think anybody will be all up in arms if Haas wasn't on the grid the next season. I don't think it's an extreme loss. It's not to me, and I'm an American that would like to have an American team in Formula One, but I'm not really cool with just Haas being there, because I don't think they've done much. Actually, that front wing is there. Looking at that front wing right now, looking at all the joint separators, and right now what we don't see is those joint separators that acted as Aero to flow it up. Remember, that was a whole thing with the Ferrari. At first, it was a thing with Mercedes. They came out with it in Coda throughout that whole situation. Then it went away. And then last season, they made it legal. As long as the main function of that part is to be a separator, then that's what it is. As far as the secondary, we can let it ride. So Ferrari ran it. Then Mercedes, was toying with bringing it back. So it was a back and forth thing. Now Mercedes has done this core thing, which I think is more similar essence of the W12, I want to say, or, so I don't know. I think it should stand. I think it's within the regs right now. I think it should stand. Of course, Mercedes is always trying to be out front on innovation. And the last 2 seasons, they did a little too much with innovation that didn't work. And it just put them in a shithole. And they failed to do what they should have done, which is open the book and close the page, turn the page on that, and get onto that design, which they transferred to last season a little bit midway through. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do this season. So they're putting that front wing back on George's car. Right now, the Ferrari is in the garage. Ferrari definitely changing a lot of their car as well to come into this season. I believe over 90% of the car has been changed. So that is very cool to know. And we want to see how that Ferrari is going to function. We also want to see what is Charles Leclerc going to do this season? Is he going to do a lot of the bonehead mistakes that we've seen him make? Is the car, really more so than that, is the car going to give Charles the opportunity to press and be as fast as he can? Because Charles is a fast driver. Let's not front. Charles is a fast driver. Charles is a talented driver, but we just know that Charles has made mistakes in the past that are just come off as, why did you do that, bro? Like, why did you go out there and do that? So we want to know this season, is he gonna be a better driver than he was last season? Has he grown more as a driver and as a person? Has Ferrari grown and done enough to hopefully give him the opportunity to perform well? Those questions will be answered within weeks coming up. Right now, they're looking at the Sauber kick front wing, looking at their cords, looking at everything, their separators, how they got everything set up. I don't expect to see much from them, honestly. Just being honest, not any shade at all. I don't expect to see much from Kick, Sauber, F1, however the hell they gonna name this team. These teams are getting a bit long in the tooth when it comes to these names. But yeah, I don't expect to see much of that. I don't expect to see much from them. One of my favorite cars. Oh yeah, we got a picture of the Kick Sauber car right here actually. So let's go ahead and bring that up so you can see that loud green livery they have right there. But talking about them, I just don't expect to see much from them. They were, like I said, they were absent. Not factually absent, but as far as performance and pace, they were absent last season. It was not a good showing for them at all last season. And like I said plenty of times in other lives, they likely almost sometimes got forgot about. Honestly, they almost likely forgot about sometimes. It was crazy how much of the race would go by and they weren't even talked about. Very little were they ever talked about. And that right there was an indictment on them itself because it just showed they were irrelevant. Their drivers weren't having a good time. I could tell you that right now. They weren't having a good time because they were losing and are not being able to finish races. So hopefully this season can be an improvement for them as well. And we'll see how that goes. I'm hoping it goes better for them. I'm definitely looking for Williams. I'm definitely looking for Williams to come back out swinging. Given what Albon did last season, I'm definitely looking for them to do something nice. For real, for real. I'm hoping that whatever they may have done to the car this season, I'm hoping that it's enough to give Albon an opportunity to perform even better. And I'm hoping that he became a better driver through last season going into this season where he's going to be able to do more in that Williams car. Because I really do root for Albon. And not even just Albon, but Williams as a whole too. I'm rooting for Williams as a whole too to do their thing. And I think I'm waiting to see if they can be even more competitive because I want to see them become a way better team, but I'm just tapering my expectations of at least maybe they become the leader of the mid-tier teams. Maybe they can come in 5th, 6th this season as far as Albon's positioning on the boards. Maybe he can even get a podium or so this season, depending on the track and what happens there. I'm really looking to hopefully see Williams do even better, especially James Vowles coming in, doing the things he's done. And let's be real, Logan Sargent is on the block. Logan Sargent's on the block right now. We're looking to see Logan Sargent improve as a driver. OG Zilla says would be cool if they made the last year of regulations an unlimited class year and went, oh man, bro, that would be crazy. That would be crazy. The last section of that reg, because, well, I guess they wouldn't do that because I don't know how much of the Aero package is going to change going into 2026 more so than the electronic systems going to change the fact that you're going into, well, not electronics because the kinetic system, the MGUH, the heat system is going away. MGUK is staying. I don't know how much is going to change on Aero. So if they made it like unrestricted and Aero regs aren't changing, that might kind of give the top teams a leaps and bounds forward jump when their whole focus is to bring the grid closer. So I don't know if they would do that, but I'm not saying that wouldn't be dope for them to do. It would be dope for them to do, in my opinion. That would be pretty damn cool. And another car that I like, its color, even though they really didn't do anything different with their livery, in my opinion, is Aston Martin. That Aston Martin green is just fire to me. Aston Martin green is just fire to me. I just like to see that car on track. That green is fire. And, you know, my new build is actually green toned, and green is a nice color. You know what they say in the Falkers, right? Green is for geniuses. That's what they say in the Falkers. I'm not calling myself a genius by any means. Not at all. But I'm just saying that green is a very attractive color to me. So let me bring that in so you all can see that photo as well. So you can check out the Aston Martin looking dope, looking with that green. Also, Jessica Hawkins. You know, I'm waiting to see her in some type of race. I know she does the ambassador thing, but I'm hoping to see her more in a prevalent role within motorsports, more than just the ambassador situation. And another team I like, Alpine. Alpine changing up their livery to go a little bit more carbon-esque. I still like the pink and the blue and the Alpine color. Is one of my favorite liveries as well, especially when they run the all pink. I definitely like that. Like, I definitely dig when they run the all pink. So looking to see them, definitely see what they're going to do with all this money they got. You know, they got all these new owners. They got all this money crept into the $1 billion team. They doing all that. I want to see, what are you going to be able to do with all that money? Are you going to be able to be a top performer? What are you going to do with all of this money that you have collected from all of your owners that have entered into your team atmosphere? Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Joshua, you know, with all these people that you got in here, what are you going to do with the money? Because I think it is something to be said about a team that has money, but what can you do with the money? Because sometimes a lot of teams aren't necessarily able to perform well or design well. And that is a factual thing. Just because they got the money to do it don't mean they're able to do it, because they can't do it. They just can't manage to be on the right track. They don't have the right data. They don't they don't have the right people in place. So yeah, I'm just waiting to see how that's going to turn out. I think we get rid of Christian Horner now. We all know Christian Horner right now is on the hot seat, waiting to see how that's going to go. The Mercedes front, you've seen that. It's just time to put the track on. Matter of fact, you all also, what do y'all think about Red Bull? What do you all think about Red Bull having the Mercedes S side pod? Do you think that that's going to be a problem for them in the race? Like right now, we might not get a true understanding of that today, because everything's testing and everything's not as aggressive as it's going to be. They're not pushing the cars as hard as they could push just right now. But I'm looking for the whole shakedown. Towards the end of testing, we should be getting, how some of these drivers they get dicey, right? They get dicey on track to the point where they start almost racing each other because they just can't wait, especially if they start feeling good about the car. So OG Zilla says, just my thought, because we already hearing the teams are going to be focusing more on 2026. I feel like 25 going to be a dead year as far as innovation, man. OG Zilla, man, you woke up this morning trying to drop some bars, bro. You woke up this morning trying to drop some bars. Let me drink some water to that. You might be right. It might be a dead year because I can see why you would say that. Honestly, I can see why you would say that, because if they already know they're focusing on 2026 and how much of a change is coming, yeah, you're right. They might cut off, depending on where teams are in that season. Some teams might decide to just cut it off early and just really start. And I think that there should be a regulation in place for that. I think that the FIA, Formula One, should come up with, you have to stay, you can't start focusing on the following season's car until we are 75% or more through this season. You need to do what you got to do to be competitive this season. And I think if they find out teams stop doing that, they should penalize them the next season going into the regulations or even going into the next season. If you stop competing and stop developing on your car before 75% of the season is done, I think that should be like boom, or whatever percentage. I'm not saying 75 based on analytical data that I've looked at. I'm just saying, given a number, a percentage right now of what I think. It might be 80%, depending on how many races are left there, right? So let's see. Let me see. Let me see what I think, because what we got this season, like 24 races. So I would say, that might, let me see. Yeah, I think somewhere around 18 races, the 17th round or so, maybe the 16th round, I would say that maybe there would be where you need, so about 60, 70%. So I wasn't far off what I want to say, about 70%. You can't start focusing on the following season's car until 70% of the season is done, is what I would think. That's what I would like to see. Because I think you should have to stay competitive, because that happens too often. And you're right, OG Zilla, it does deaden up the season. It makes it boring because they're not competing. They're not even mentally and emotionally involved because they know their minds in the next season. So they're not really aggressively and competitively involved in this season. So I do think there needs to be something in place for that, for sure. I do agree with you on that. Full heart, I do agree with that. It could be a dead year. And if it is a dead year, that's Ain't nothing cool about that. There's nothing interesting about that if that's what comes to be with with the following season. So yeah, I agree with you on that, man. I think definitely, and I think there should be something done about that as well. I think that they need to be aware of that, and that they need to make sure that teams don't do that. And some people might feel like, what does it matter if they focus on next season? Well, it matters to people like OG Zilla. I don't want to see a team not being competitive this season because they already done threw the towel in and they just gonna wait until the following season to be competitive. I totally feel you on that. I don't want to see that shit either. Honestly, I don't. So I'm with OG Zilla on that one. Definitely with OG Zilla on that one. I don't want to see that crap. So right now we see at the top of the boards is Alonso and now Aston Martin. Last season started off, pow. They started off good. Mid-season, went downhill. I want to see them be more consistent and competitively this season. Alonso walked away with 8 podiums. Bro walked away with 8 podiums last season. Ooh, that power slide right there by Max Control. That was nice. He walked away with 8 podiums. Do you know how many podiums Lance Stroll walked away with? Cheerio. Talio. Walked away with zilch. Now, there was a lot of talk in the offseason with Lance Stroll about this season. He's supposed to be more competitive. He's supposed to be, I'm telling you, to me, Lance Stroll's ceiling is already on his head. I don't think he's going to become those cannons are so aggressive on that Red Bull. It's not even funny. Those cannons are hell of aggressive. They actually look good. I don't know how well they're going to perform, but those, because what looks good ain't necessarily performing well, but those cannons look aggressive as shit. That is a page out of Mercedes' book, exponentially to the exponential. It's just, and it looks good, aggressive, but I don't know how good it's going to perform. But we will see. Red Bull, the pressure mounts as you are more of a focus and a target for teams. And like I said, I think these teams are going to get a bit closer. But the thing is, a bit closer is not enough. The team needs to make such a jump that Red Bull's jump, you can meet that. And that's a big ass jump, but it's not impossible. But now what Red Bull has done, given the development of their car, Red Bull have put themselves in a situation where if this works, if the new update from the Red Bull works, it is going to put them, and let's say it's got to work and it's got to be highly competitive. It's got to work and it's got to be dominating like last season. But if they do this, they've changed the game because everybody's gone to what they were in previous seasons. Everybody's gone to that. And now they've thrown a juke in there. If you know what a juke is, they've thrown a juke in there. And now if teams are going to have to try to follow up with that, it's like, oh shit, we thought, they were going to still be here when we got here. No, Red Bull done checked out. They done checked out of that Airbnb. They had the party already. They done checked out of Airbnb and now they at breakfast. Everybody's showing up to the party late. So if that's the case, that's going to be crazy for them. That's going to be crazy for the field. Red Bull not only adopting some of the Mercedes design, but then now they're so much more competitive. Oh my gosh. That will kill the game. And then that will give them at least another season of dominance, because it's not like they've changed the car drastically, but they've changed it enough to the point where every other team ain't there. And I'm not saying that other teams might not be able to develop in this season and possibly do something, but it will put them on the back foot if this is the case. If this is the case, it's going to put other teams on the back foot. There goes RB2. There goes the little RB. It's going to put them on the back foot. So right now, Fernando Alonso at the top of the chart, still in the Aston Martin. And Valtteri is next. We got K-Mag from Haas. Max Verstappen 4th, Charles Leclerc 5th, Esteban 6th, George Russell 7th. And you know what? I will say this. It's not sandbagging. I'm not saying it's sandbagging, because I think to try to use the term sandbagging with Mercedes this season, if you didn't learn, hey, first time you get me, shame on you. Second time you get me, shame on me. You shouldn't get me a third time. If you want to say Mercedes is sandbagging again after seeing what Freak Dogs Flesh say Aston Martin before summer break was looking better than Mercedes, but after summer break, they took a dive bomb, like nosedive. Yeah, they did. They did. But if you want to sit here and try to say Mercedes is sandbagging, you're fooling yourself. Now, what I will say is this: it's not sandbagging. Mercedes is known to go heavy on themselves in the beginning. They want to experience some of those bad conditions. They want to try to look at worst case scenarios. Okay, they're going to do that. And then after looking at worst case scenarios, taking all the blunt of the work, all trying to do as much data collection, running heavy fuel loads, then they'll go to a more performing situation and see what these changes will give us. So I'm not saying they're sandbagging, but I am saying that right now you can't look at Mercedes' performance with George Russell and feel like all hope is lost, because that is a typical Mercedes format to come out and take the blunt of the work up front, and then let's see what the car can give us on the back end. So don't get discouraged about what you may be seeing with Mercedes in regards to their times right now. It's not a good representation of what they may be able to accomplish in the testing. So just kind of chill, buy your time, grab you some breakfast, and just wait and see what they actually do in the following sessions, especially the afternoon session. This is the morning session. So I don't think you need to, don't be all up in arms thinking, Red Bull Mercedes done failed us again. It's way too early, and you should know how Mercedes can do, especially when it comes to development and testing. So the afternoon session, let's see what happens then. Here's a nice above shot of the Red Bull car. Max Verstappen in number one again. And look how aggressive those cannons are from the top. Look at the downwash on those. And now remember, that's all strictly Aero, but look at the Aero Rakes. Speaking about Aero, look at the front wing. I don't think the car has, in some sections, changed drastically. That rear wing is hellified draggy. Has changed drastically, but in the midsection and the side pod area, it's changed quite a bit. And I'm really interested to see what that's going to lead to. OG Zilla says, I would love to be a fly on the wall at the Merc if Red Bull can get Mike Elliott designs to work. Hey, man, bro, I said this shit last season when you kept seeing Adrian Newey like just stalking the car. Me and Galactus talk about this. Don't be surprised if Adrian Newey finds a way to unlock the W13 and make some performance out of it, because dude is an engineering genius. Like, bro is an engineering genius, man, at what he does. I'm going to say it, he is the shit. When it comes to design, Adrian Newey is the shit. Let's just be straight up with that. Bro is the man. He is the man, period. He's the man. And, you got to give that dude his props. You got to give him his props. I'm about to bring in a picture of McLaren as well from up above, showing off their car. They got rear Aero Rakes on their car as well. So they're collecting data from just behind the front wheels, collecting data. I think that might be just behind the beam wing. So collecting data, how that air is coming off the car there. So let me bring in the picture of that so you all can check that out. I'm looking for Oscar Piastri. That's my rookie. That's my dog. I'm looking for Oscar Piastri to have even a better season this season than what he did last season. I need McLaren to give bro the car so he could do his thing, because I think he has the potential. I'm not going even front. I think he got the potential maybe to be better than even Lando. I just do. I think he's got that potential. And so I would like to see what he's actually going to do on track this season and see how it goes, because Oscar Piastri proved last season that, hey, there was a reason why they fought for me. There's a reason why McLaren fought for me. And let me show y'all why. I felt he made a statement last season. I felt he proved to the world that McLaren was right for going through all the huss and fuss about him joining their team. So I'm looking for him to progress and be better this season. But McLaren's got to give both of their drivers the car to be competitive. They just do. And if they do that, I think it could be an awesome fight. It could be an awesome fight this season between McLaren, Ferrari, Aston Martin, Mercedes, and Red Bull. That would be nice. if we can potentially see every now and then, or even more on a more consistent basis, Williams go into that fight and be a team that can disturb that top five every now and then, yo, that would be cool. That would be awesome. That would lend to a lot more of us watching the races in and out of this season. That would be cool for us because we wouldn't necessarily know what to expect. And I think that's where people got tired, because they came into the race weekend on Sunday at lights out. You pretty much said it's going to be another Red Bull win with, maybe a mixed podium, because there's 3 spots on the podium. There are only 2 Red Bull cars. So, maybe third place changes. We expected Perez to be second more than he was, and hope maybe we'll see what happens with him this season. But like I said, I'm not fully sold that it was all Perez on what may have taken place last season. I'm not fully believing that Perez just was a bum driver all the way through, but it could be. Maybe bro don't do well with pressure. That could very well be a thing, that Perez doesn't do well with pressure. And since he doesn't do well with pressure mounted, and we know what happens. Either pressure's going to make diamonds or it's going to bust pipes, and maybe his pipe bursts. There goes the nice Ferrari right there with the Aero Rakes. Oh, Aero Rakes right there on the engine cover as well, collecting some data off that. Those Ferrari's Aero Rakes just look very barbaric. They look very barbaric in a way. It just looks like almost, there's a movie that these Aero Rakes, you know how I am about movies. You know how I am about movie puns. There's a movie that these Aero Rakes remind me of. And I can't remember the movie, but it was a movie where these people had done something to the native people there, and they were turning into these basically these mutated bucks or something, and they were just coming through killing up people. Those Aero Rakes remind me of that. That's what those Aero Rakes remind me of. So I'm gonna bring in a photo of Haas as well. We gotta be fair. Gotta bring in Haas so we can see what their cars looking like. They got Aero Rakes on one. They got one Aero Rake on the car. And Haas, I'm not gonna say anything. Engineer wise, maybe they're they're just definitely taking something, but it just looks crazy to me for you to have. It is what it is. It is. I'm just gonna leave it at that. It is what it is. Let me show y'all what Haas got going on as far as them collecting some aero data using the Aero Rakes. Maybe they feel they only need to collect information from one quadrant of their car, and this is the quadrant that they're taking it from. So we'll bring that in. I'm gonna let you see this, and you tell me. Haas do what they do. I'm not expecting, like I said, I'm not expecting much of anything from Haas this season, but what we've been seeing. And why, I don't know, it's such a stern hold for them to be part of Formula One, given what they haven't been able to do in Formula One, which is be very competitive. So, it is what it is. We'll see what's up with that. We got Kick Sauber. Where's the picture of, let's see if we can. Oh, yeah, here goes another picture of the Mercedes from the top. And this is why I like the new livery, because a lot of people felt they wanted to see more of the Silver Arrows livery back. A lot of people like myself like the carbon, the black of Mercedes. I think a black Mercedes is crazy. Like a black Mercedes is, but I did also say that if you're going to have a black Mercedes, this shit need to be it need to be hella fast. It need to be something. You can't just be a black Mercedes and be whack. You know what I'm saying? But I think this embodies and brings into play what a lot of people wanted to see in a Mercedes livery, which was the Silver Arrows to be present. And I think they did an excellent job embodying that Silver Arrows along with keeping the black livery. I think they did an awesome job with that. And I think when it goes down the track, it's just going to be more dynamic when you see that car and you see the fact that you got, the Silver Arrows incorporated with the black livery. I just think it's, electronic cornbread. What's going on? The top bro coming out this season with the top super chat of the season. Bum, 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 bum. Matter of fact, I'm going to get me, hey, trust me, I got some things we're going to bring in when it comes to these super chats. Bro, electronic cornbread coming in smashing. By the way, he is the honey bun dealer. Electronic cornbread supplied honey buns for driver of the day for the fam. So big shout out for him on that. Damn, I forgot what I was bringing into the picture for y'all. Electronic Cornbread come, you know what I'm saying, doing what he doing. But here we go right here. Let me show you that. Then I'm going to read his super chat right there. Electronic Cornbread says 2024 has the makings of a sizzler season. Red Bull copying Merc ideas is a tale, y'all. You don't revolutionize that most winning car in Formula One history unless you know last year's design was the best it was gonna get. It's a RB Hail Mary, but if they make it work, man, and that's what I was saying, Cornbread. If they make this work, bro, it's gonna be a killer. It's gonna be a killer. If Red Bull make such, like Cornbread said, a revolutionized design, right? Revolutionary. Just they totally changed. They changed it up a lot. I ain't gonna say they totally changed it. They changed it up a lot. And if they changed it up this much, leaving a design that was working, because you know what the terminology is. The quote is, don't fix it if it ain't broke. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. They did something different. And they incorporated, like Cornbread said, cop Mercedes designs. If it works and we start seeing 20-second, 19-second gaps again, it's going to be crazy. Then I understand the first place is going to get like, whatever. But second, third could be a fight amongst the other teams. But I know a lot of people are looking for there to be this fight against Mercedes. There's to see Mercedes back in it. That's what people are looking for. They're looking to see Mercedes back in it. And I understand that. That's what people want to see. So that's what's gonna, man, it is gonna be a sizzler, bro. You are factually right about that. Depending on how that goes, it's definitely going to be a sizzler. Let me bring in a top photo of Mercedes right here so we can check that out. Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a sizzler, bro. Facts, hands down. That it's gonna be crazy. Big shout out to you, Honey Bun, man. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm the Honey Bun King, but he the Honey Bun dealer, man, because we doing Honey Buns for Drive of the Day in our racing series. The last round is this Sunday. It's going to be in Vegas. So if you're eligible to race, come through and race. Come through and race. Come show everybody what you got. You know, we pulling up. We pulling up doing the thing. So definitely show up if you want to race and you're eligible. If you're a green badge or higher, you are eligible to race in the state racing series, whether it's the last series or the first series. So you want to pull up for that, definitely pull up for that. We got drivers on track. Alonso still at the top of the timing boards. Charles is next. Bottas is third. I don't know if that's going to be a real situation with Bottas being third throughout the season, but we'll see. Yuki is eighth. I ain't going to even lie. To see Yuki in the top 10 at eighth majority of the season, if he can actually make that happen, I ain't gonna lie, I'd be impressed. I would honestly be impressed if Yuki can do that. If Yuki can make that happen throughout majority of the season, 8th, 7th, and if he does better than that, we already know why that is, but it would be cool to see Yuki do that. Yuki's made a lot of improvements as a person in Formula One and as a driver. So to me, I like to see bro at the top. I like to see him at the top, although he's not going to be a top driver. But if he can every now and then get into the fold, that it's crazy because I got something I want to say about this Sauber car, and they are tearing up the rear of that diffuser coming across that section of the track. But I'm gonna bring the picture in first, and then I'm gonna say what I have to say about this car because I just want to know what they're gonna end up using to see certain things. I guess they would use a very contrasting orange. Honestly, I guess that's what they would do. But let me bring in what I want to bring in first, and then I'm gonna say what I gotta say because the color and tone of this car is what's gonna be very crazy for me to see what they're gonna end up doing. So let's see right here. Bring this in real quick for y'all. All right, we'll close that down. Don't save. Mercedes is back in the garage right now. And bow, there we go, right there. Boom, got it. Let me bring this in. The livery, the kick livery is kind of growing on me a little bit. Like, but my only thing is if it's not performing, it's just gonna be a big green turd. It's going to be a lot of jokes made. I think it's going to be some jokes made about the livery being that loud and green, especially if they don't perform. But my main thing is, what color Flo-Viz? I want to ask you, I'm going to put a poll in the chat. I want to know, what color Flo-Viz do you think Kick will use, knowing that they have this? Typically we see the green, right? Typically we see the green. But what color Flo-Viz do you think they're going to use this season so they can clearly see what they have going on? Won't use that. All right, here we go. Do you think it's going to be, let's see, or, you know what, we saw Mercedes use one time because they had the all black. They ended up using the white. Let's see if they got that. All right, well, there it is. Poll in the chat. Don't dance on it, just vote on it. If you do dance on it, just know you're not getting no dollar bills. You know what I'm saying? So there you go. Poll in the chat. Let me know what color Flo-Viz you think they'll actually use, given that they have this bright green, which is typically a color we usually see in Flo-Viz. What color are they going to use to be a contrast to that so they can actually see what the hell's going on in that car? Because that green is all through certain sections that we know, especially on the rear wing of that car. Well, I mean, what the hell are you going to use back there? All of that's green. It's so green for a moment, I thought it actually was Flo-Viz. But it wasn't. It's the green of the rear wing. So I just want to know what color, contrasting color, will they actually use so that they can clearly see the direction of airflow moving across that car. That's what's going to be interesting to me. It's not that it's big important, but it's just a fun trivial question to kind of wonder. By the way, you know we're going to have kickback quality trivia this season. The moderators, Galactus, Sylvia Witt, Kelly, and I have gotten together, and we have decided on a different format that will enable people to have more of a winning opportunity, but not to totally dismiss those who can be dominant in it. So coming up, when it gets closer to the season, we'll cover what's going to happen and how we're going to go about that. But it will be very fun, and it will allow a rotation of people to get in. And if somebody's heavily dominant, it will allow them to have their moment, but then they'll have to kind of take a back seat for a while, opening up the field for other people to come in and be competitive. And here it is right here. We got, the Red Bull car come down. That rear wing, that cutout on that rear wing is crazy, though. The cutout on that thing is crazy. Also, I want to see if they're going to do a little bit anything different with the beam wings, because they were leading in that. I think Red Bull was the first team to break up that beam wing. There's two elements there, but the way they were structured on the car, they were acting as one surface, and Red Bull broke them apart to utilize it to do different things with drag and or not. So I want to see what they're going to come up with that as well this season. It's going to be an interesting season. It's going to be interesting testing to see where they land up, because they're not going to be sandbagged. They shouldn't sandbag the whole time. We definitely should see at some point in time them start being really competitive. So it's going to be interesting to see any of these teams and what they end up doing. So I'm very excited to see what takes place towards the end of this session. Ooh, got a close-up pic right here of the Red Bull car. And it's funny because the side pods from the side view don't look all that different. It's all tucked away, almost like the the S-Duct. The S-Duct that Ferrari came up with, and I don't know really how much that even worked for them, but it was very cool looking and cool that they did it. But it's almost like that, because you really don't see the inlet. You really don't see the inlet of the Red Bull car. So it's very interesting, and I want to see if it's actually going to be something that's going to pay dividends in performance, right? Because that's really what matters at the end of the day. Paying dividends in performance. For it to look good is not enough in Formula One. It needs to perform good. That's what it needs to do. And so I think right now the question is, like Cornbread just said, did they change it to really gain an advantage, or have they changed it and screwed up what they had? But we all know they can go back to that. I'm pretty sure, they can go back to the old spec, because the old spec was hella competitive. So there's no doubt that they can go back to that, depending on the leaps and bounds that other teams may have made, that they can go back to that and be competitive. So, right now, Red Bull's playing with house money, for real. Red Bull is playing with house money. Let's just be honest. They got house money. They got a lot racked up from last season. They've done a lot. They've been extremely dominant. So at this point in time, they can make that mistake. They can make an error and know that they got something to kind of revert back to that's going to put them up where they want to be. But yeah, here's a close-up photo of that Red Bull. Look at how you really can't even see the inlets. They are so tucked down there. That undercut is heavy. And that floor, I've always liked Red Bull's floor. But look at what Nui has done to the leading edge of that floor in the area just underneath the undercut. That is a main plane. And I'm going to tell you something. If you see this car, I'm going to see if I can bring in a photo. I'm not going to even talk about it right now. I'll see if I can bring in a photo of the RB20 real quick and see if I can show you what I'm talking about. If I can find an image of that car from the angle that I want to find it. Hopefully there is one, even though this is a rendering. I'm going to bring this in so you can hopefully see what I'm talking about, because it is very interesting to me. So I'm going to try to bring this in real quick, and then hopefully, yeah, I should be able to articulate it as well. I should be able to articulate it as well. So let me do that. Let me where is it? Yep, here it is right here. I can bring it in right there. Bow, bada bing, bada boom. All right, I'm about to bring something into play and just see what you all think about it. just to get your opinion on it. It's abstract view. It's something abstract. Just keep your mind open. Don't be closed-minded. Keep your mind open and just rock with it, and then let me know if you kind of look at it the same way and say, you know what, that is interesting, or nah, I don't see it. I'm cool with it either way. You know, to me, I kind of see it, but let me see what you all think. But I'm going to say this, that if you look at the RB20, here it is right here. I'm about to bring it into view right now. If you look at the RB20, just look at the side pod inlet area. Does that not look like a 180 upside down version of the slim down side pods from Mercedes when they first kind of introduced them? It looks like that, but it's not the side pod solely. It is the floor design incorporated before going into that side pod area that gives that visible indication that it almost looks like the slim down side pod. But the way Adrian Newey has incorporated it, it's different, but it's the same. And to me, that's what it reminds me of. It reminds me of that version of the slim down side pod, but he's incorporated the floor in it, not just the Aero body package of that. So to me, it's just another indication of what Adrian Newey has been able to do with his ability, with his engineering skills and everything. He's just done a phenomenal job to me with developing designs and everything he's come up with. So to me, I don't doubt him that it can work. I would need to see it not work first before I doubt him that it can't work. And he's earned that respect. He should have earned that respect from many of us, honestly. He should have earned that respect from many of us, given what he's been able to do since he's been in the game and been involved in Formula One teams and in the projects. Adrian Newey is proven he's sound. Now, I'm not going to say he can't mess up. I'm not going to say he can't make a mistake, but at the same time, I'm not going to overly criticize Adrian Newey for having a bad design or so, given what he's been able to accomplish with everything else he's done. Shit, he got some room. He got some runway to make mistakes. I ain't going to say it's going to be a good situation if he does it, but I'm saying that if he does do it, okay, so what? Look at everything else he's done. Are we going to hold his feet to the fire for that? Maybe, but we're not going to overly criticize him and be like, bro, you done? You trash? Nah, not at all. Adrian Newey definitely ain't trash. Definitely ain't trash. And I my money would bet that whatever he ends up doing is going to be better than not. It goes Max in the garage, everybody around, screens on. So yeah, that's where I sit on Adrian Newey. That's where I sit on him. So yeah, we'll see what happens though. But looking at this, who we got up here, everybody's in the pits except Charles, Yuki, and what we got Albon out there on track right now. And Verstappen is back out there on track doing his thing. So Yeah, but I don't know. I'm interested, like y'all, like Cornbread said, we'll see what happens. But hey, in this game, anything liable to happen. You know what I'm saying? At this point in time, teams should have been able to make a lot of come up from where they were to this season. Oh yeah, we got the Williams car running the orange Flo-Viz. There we go. Williams out there with the Flo-Viz. Let me see what y'all said on that poll. All right, 37% said red. It's a tie between white and blue, and orange is the second with 26%. So, okay. All right. Yeah, I like the Williams car with that orange. That's why I like when they bring out the Golf. Big shout out to Cornbread again. That's why I like when they bring out that Golf design livery with that powder blue and that orange. I think that's a lit livery. Williams had some of the best liveries last season along with McLaren. Williams, and then who else would I say probably had some dope ass liveries? Yeah, I think really it was mainly between them. McLaren, Williams, and no, Alfa Romeo. They probably had to me the best livery of last season with that livery last season was tough. They came out with. It's not going to happen this season. Kick Sauber. I don't know what else they can actually come up with, but last season, they had a tough livery, too. They got a lot of Flo-Viz on that Williams car. I mean, they got a hell of a lot of Flo-Viz on that Williams car right now. They heavy with it. They trying to see what is really going on. And here we go. Let's just talk about this. GP ain't the only person right now talking to Max. Let's just discuss this since they, they got the image here of it. I just want to know what some of you all think about this in the chat. I want to know what you think Red Bull should have done, given whatever might take place or what hasn't take place. But let me know what you would have done in this situation, and then let me put his name in there as well, so I know what that file is. I'm gonna bring this into the game, into the Wolfpack atmosphere, and see what you all think. But I believe. How do you all feel about this guy being at the testing session, given what's been going on and what is going on? How do y'all feel about Christian Horner? He was at the livery lunch. So at that point in time when they tested that, I think they were looking to see. I think that was a test right there. When they brought Christian to the livery lunch, I think that was a soft touch on seeing how much Red Bull could get away with. I think if they had brought him to the livery lunch and there would have been a public outrage to the point so many people, so many outlets reported on it, it would have been all kinds of crazy on Formula One, FIA's page. I don't think he's there now. But I think because there wasn't a real upcry and uproar about it, they were like, okay, it might not be so bad. So yeah, Christian, you can come join us until further notice. I think that's really what it was. I think that's what they were doing. And not enough people really gave a damn about it, which is kind of, it's kind of sad to say, given what but like I say, he's innocent to proven guilty. But from what I heard, dude might be pretty guilty. But we're gonna see. It's not done. It's not concluded completely. I don't believe. With these things, even when you think you reached a conclusion, you'd be surprised about other things that have come out after that. That although officially weren't indicted on, the public will see something and be like, "Oh hell no!" To the point. It makes an organization go back and find a way to penalize a person because, we didn't get away with this shit. And now we got new developments coming out. Now somebody else then came out. Y'all remember the whole situation with Deshaun Watson, which was kind of funny with the Texans quarterback who then went to Cleveland, got the highest paid. It was kind of funny with that situation, right? All of a sudden he wants to leave. These things come out, and the next thing the shit just rolled downhill, steamrolled. It could be something like that. Remember Ben Roethlisberger with his rape situation. It could be something like that. In these things, I hate it when they happen. I always tell people, especially when I mentor young gentlemen, no means no. No means no. Respect the other person's space. Respect that person. Respect whatever they have going on. No means no. And being drunk is not consent enough to get a yes. Do not do it. Don't do it. Just no, it's not worth it. Don't do it. And if you're the type of person to violate people like that, I definitely don't have any respect for you. I definitely don't. I'd actually have something else for you. But I definitely don't have no respect for you for real. For real, for real. I don't deal with that. Not at all. Respect people, respect women, respect people, respect men all the way. No means no. Don't press somebody into a situation that they already done told you they're not feeling it. Just let it go and go about your way. Just go about your way. I can't stand it. I ain't gonna get into it because I get crazy talking about this, but I can't stand rapists, I can't stand molesters, I can't stand pedophile, I can't stand none of that. I can't stand nothing that does something like that to somebody. It really rubs me the wrong way. So, when it comes to something like sexual assault or sexual harassment, it's like, man, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing right now? For real? Is that the type of time you really on? Like, come on. Oh, yes. I've been waiting to get this photo, this image right here. I don't know what it is about orange on a Williams blue, but it just looks good to me. It just looks good to me. Cool. I'm glad we got this one in. Oh, yes. I know y'all are like, Jay, it's just Flo-Viz. I know it's just Flo-Viz, but I just like that orange contrast on that blue. It's just, you know what it might be? I had a Serpent M35. I had a Serpent car. It was like between the 5th and the 10th scale. I had a Serpent car and I painted that orange and blue. And that might be where my attraction comes from, that, because it stems from that gas car, which I did a modified OS 21. Some of y'all might not be in gas cars. Lewis used to be in gas car racing. Some of y'all might not have been in that gas car world, but I was heavy in that. I was heavy in that car. Did all types of custom stuff. So that might be where my attraction for that color combination comes from. So let me bring that in, because I know y'all like, man, it's just orange Flo-Viz on a blue car, Jay. Yeah, but I just like it. It's just attractive to me. It's just hellified attractive to me. It just, look at that orange on that blue contrast. It's just something that grabs me about that. Looks good. But yeah, they ran. Look at how much Flo-Viz they got across that. They're really trying to see what they got going on. I would hope that we could get a close-up of that car in the garage and see what the patterns look like on there. And I'm pretty sure we get some photos at some point in time to see what that flow of air was doing across that front wing, to see if you got a bunch of gaps, if you got a bunch of swirls, or you got a bunch of mudding. You don't want it. You want just nice streaks flowing, hopefully where you had anticipated they would flow. So that definitely would be very cool. But hell yeah, definitely liking that. Definitely liking that. It's just attractive to me. But now I think we've worked out why it's attractive to me. So that's cool. Let me change the time on that. We can get a bit more flicker. All right, so right now, top of the charts, as you see, Charles is now at the top of the charts, but in the pits, Alonso second, Bottas third, Albon is fourth. So definitely some performance, definitely some pace, definitely some interesting things. I'm glad not a large reporting on porpoising. I'm really interested to see what this RB 2.0 car is going to be, since basically it's the RB19. Let's just call it that. The RB19, now that Red Bull has. It's like, what do you do with this? What do you do with this team? What do you do with Red Bull? They just with the shenanigans, and they are allowed to just have these shenanigans. It's like, I don't even know, the RB the Visa team. Shit, I don't know what to call them. I'm just gonna call them AlphaTauri. I'm not even gonna try to work my way through all of that. I'm just gonna call them AlphaTauri. That's what I'm calling them. That's what they're gonna be to me. But technically they not, so I shouldn't call them that, but it just seems so much easier than dealing with this RB. You know what? They've done it to themselves. I'm just going to say RB. I'm just going to say Red Bull. I'm just going to say Red Bull. And then you just have to figure out who I'm talking about, because that's what we are left with, figuring out why they're allowed to have two teams on the ground. I'm just going to say Red Bull. I'm not even going to fight with it. I'm not going to fight with it. I bet you commentators were talking about that. What do we do about this name on this team? How are we going to talk about this and differentiate between the two? Oof. Got a nice image of this front wing in the pits with Mercedes. Let's bring that on into play so we can check that out. Always up to bring in some good image. You know what I call it? Some good car porn. We're gonna bring in some good car porn right now. Nothing wrong with car porn. Car porn is totally okay. You can look at that all day and not get in trouble. You can do that all day and not get in trouble. As long as you know you're not looking at it while you're on the clock and your manager, your supervisor come by and catch you. You don't want that situation. But car porn is definitely not going to get you fired, but you may get penalized for looking at, testing right now while you at work, but I know it's hard not to look at testing while you even at work. Some people probably got their phones on right now with their earpieces in, just listening in, just trying to hear what's coming out of the paddock. We're just trying to hear what some of these commentators are talking about. I ain't even mad at you. This is where things officially begin. This is where we officially get our taste to see where people are going to be. So it's a very exciting day. You see, I got up at 1 a.m. just to be here, just to watch, just to see what was going on. So I'm excited about the season starting. So that's that should tell you. Jay got up at 1 o'clock in the morning. I didn't even get to bed until 23:40 something, 23:40. Pop right back up at 1 something in the morning. Yeah, I'm real about what I do. I'm passionate about what I do. You don't get up that early, and I'm not going to sleep after this. I'm still going to be up and doing everything else I got to do. So definitely passionate. I think something cool about what we're seeing right here on the Mercedes is I like how they incorporated these red touches. These red touches that they incorporated are solid. I like how they incorporated the red. And I think some of you actually wanted to see Mercedes incorporate more red into their livery. But I think some of you wanted to see more red stars. But I think the one red star holds a meaning, and it should just be one. But I like how they incorporated more red within their livery. I do think that's cool. I think that's really cool. So let's see what we got. Albon, it would be if Albon, think about this. If Albon messed around and came in fourth the first race with a Williams car, smoke in the city. Smoke in the city. And then I'm telling you, the pressure is on Logan Sargent at that point in time. The pressure is on bro heavy. If Albon starts competing in that car like that, oh my gosh. Logan Sargent, bro, if you don't reach that this season and you wreck that car similar, not even as much as you did last season, bro, you likely gonna find yourself out of Formula One. This is I'm gonna say it. This is a make or break year for Logan Sargent. This is a make or break season for Logan Sargent. He's gonna be able to make a statement that he belongs or make a statement that he should be gone this season. That's where he's gonna be. And yeah, I know we all want to see also what Carlos is going to do. Carlos was already pulling boss moves last season when he felt that there was an opportunity and that the situation between he and Charles was not right for him to receive team orders. He acted on it, and I can't say he was wrong because it paid off. I want to see how many of these decisions Carlos is going to pull this season because, bro, he be pulling some boss calls, and that shit do pan out. I got to give credit where credit is due. He called boss calls and it be panning out. So with him knowing that he's going to be leaving the team, that this is his last season with the team because Lewis Hamilton is going to Ferrari, that was a bombshell. I want to see how Carlos conducts himself. But Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, crazy. And I know people, that's another thing why Mercedes is on the hot seat this season. What are you going to do your last season that the GOAT driver is in your car? What kind of car have you delivered? And is that the reason why he decided this? I'm not dealing with this anymore. You got to imagine being with a team who is not being competitive or not developing a competitive car, not being competitive because they're being competitive as far as their energy and what they're doing, but they didn't build a competitive car to the point where that Lewis Hamilton or Russell could fight for championships. You on the hot seat. You on audition, just like Ferrari's on audition for Lewis Hamilton to come into their team. You on audition right now for these drivers to know, shit, is this team ready to do what I'm ready to do? And another thing is we looking to see if Mercedes going to improve on these pit stops because they pit stops have been ridiculously horrible. They have ultimately been ridiculously a damn shame. It's been a damn shame, these pit stops. So we're looking to see, they supposedly got new, they updated equipment, all that other stuff. If you got all this equipment stuff fixed, and then we still see bad pit stops, you're not getting no break on that. OG Zilla says, in my opinion, if Alonso goes to Mercedes for 2025, Albon should go to Aston Martin and lead that project as the number one driver. And I don't, you know what's funny? They gonna play it like Albon going into Aston Martin wouldn't be the number one, but he's clearly a better driver than Lance Stroll. And that might be a good landing spot for Albon, actually, though, because we already saw Aston Martin, to me, didn't display the culture that they're going to have one driver at a disadvantage than the other. Come on now. That's one situation we can't say is like Red Bull. So I think, and they are competitive. They are competitive. We saw it. We saw Alonso grab 8 podiums last season. If they make the right jump and Albon can come into that car and perform up, that would be a fire move. Alonso going to Mercedes, I don't really think that, I don't know. Is it okay? Lewis is leaving, so it puts him in this situation. But is Alonso really worth it? Is Alonso really worth it to do that? I know the whole dynamic of having a very seasoned vet alongside a newly, Russell's not new, but he's still very young, a young driver. So let me say that. Is that really the combination they need right now? Or do they need to really try to secure their future like McLaren? McLaren got 2 very young drivers. They got a phenomenal rookie in what he's been able to do. They got Lando, who's a very young driver. They got him locked up for a while. So they're building on young talent that is exceptionally good. Does Mercedes go and get an old talent that is also exceptionally good, but closer to falling off than he is excelled? Like, we're not going to see a monumental jump in Alonso's driving ability. That's not going to happen. So it's a very funny thing. But if they only do it for a 1-year deal, but I don't see Alonso going there, because that was the whole thing. He didn't want a 1-year, 1-1 deal. He probably wants some longevity, depending on how long he's going to stay in Formula One. Maybe he might not be wanting to stay that long. But if they could do a 1-1 deal with Alonso, but they also, you got to know, they got a 17-year-old in the wings that's looking like he might be promising. Now, got to see him in a Formula One car, but they got some options, and I'm not sure Alonso would fit in those options unless they want that hellified season world champion next to hopefully what's going to be our new potential world champion to come. We got to see what they want to do. I don't think maybe that's the way they move, but I'm with the Albon move. I just don't know where Alonso should go, if not out of the sport, where he should go. And to me, I don't think he should be out of the sport, because bro grabbed 8 podiums last season. If you can grab 8 podiums, and don't forget his last podium was in the midst of them on their downfall. Well, to me, I didn't even describe it as a downfall. I felt they just didn't develop, and all teams developed above them, and they just kind of were stagnant. But it still was in the midst of Aston Martin being very questionably competitive, and bro grabbed another podium. So I don't think Alonso should be out of the sport. I think he proved he's still one of the better drivers on the grid. So if a team's looking for a driver, Alonso has proven with a good car, he can do good things. So I'm with him being in the sport. That's why I don't understand why so many people are out here voicing for Lewis Hamilton to be retired. Why? Bro's still at the top of the game doing his thing. So why should he be retired for any other reason besides you just want an easy path for Max to have to 8 world titles without the best driver getting another competitive car and grabbing titles off Max while he's in here? Because it's already been said by Max, he don't plan on being here like into his 40s. He don't plan on being here probably to 38. He's got a contract with Red Bull up to 2028. I'm not even sure when 2028 signs, I'm not even confident that Max Verstappen is going to sign an extension. Whether he got this many championships or not, he's just said it too many times on different platforms in different ways that he don't plan on being here that long, that he wants to do other racing series. So all of that comes into play. We'll see what happens. But hey, I wish the best to all drivers. I wish all drivers safer. Cornbread in the super chat. What's up? Merc hasn't been the same since, man, bro, 2021. That's why I got these cards. That's why I got us these. 2021. That's why I got us these. You know what I'm saying? Even though, see, because they didn't want to mention 2021 in that montage video they made. 2021 is a very sus season, what happened there. But that's why I got those. But yeah, I'm totally with you. 2021, they left Lewis hanging. Listen, bro, in 2021 is when they left Lewis hanging at the end. Formula One and FIA did him wrong. They allowed something to happen that shouldn't have happened. Then they didn't correct it when they could have corrected it. And that was just BS. But then a lot of people like yourself, even me, feel Mercedes didn't fight hard enough for what was wrong. They should have really fought tooth and nail, but they got their 8th constructor title. Lewis got cheated out his driver's title. Bro has to think about his racing legacy because Toto wasn't. Why not Ferrari? Hey, bro, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Why not Ferrari? You know, I felt like I said in the set, and I was right. Remember what I said last season when it first came up that Lewis was entertaining, that Ferrari was entertaining Lewis and vice versa. I said Lewis Hamilton is going to bring more to Ferrari than Ferrari is going to bring to Lewis Hamilton. And I wasn't wrong. Did y'all see what happened when the news came out that Lewis Hamilton was going to Ferrari? Their fucking stock prices took a big leap. It took a big leap. It was like this and then it bowed. It wasn't even that. It was like this and then boom, it went straight up. It was like a F-15 Eagle kicking vertical and just breaking the sound barrier. I was right about that. Now, I also told you all last season and the season before, y'all keep dismissing Ferrari because it's so polarizing that Mercedes has stumbled on themselves. But I told you all, Ferrari got just as many problems, and we saw that. We saw that, didn't we? Although their drivers, podium more so than what other drivers were able to do, Ferrari still was very vexed. Fred Vasseur was working on cleaning that up. This is the season where we see Fred changes car. Can it come together to do better? Lewis Hamilton entry, is that going to be something that's going to put them over the fence in order to get constructor championships and driver championships? That remains to be seen. And this season is an audition for that. So I'm with you, Cornbread. Why not Ferrari? Especially a heritage, Formula One historic team. Why not drive for them if you know you're going to be on your way out? I'm with it. Freak Dogs Flair says Merc 21 is like number 13. We do not speak. Freak Dogs Flair, bro, I'm glad to see you back, man. I missed your quotables, bro. We don't speak of it or show it in any of our elevators. Bro, you ain't lying about that. That's some real shit. The Mechanic, what's up, bro? F1 should pay us for staying up. Yo, yesterday my bro was on tax returns, which I still gotta do my shit. Today my bro is on F1 paying us to be up at 1 o'clock in the morning to watch testing. Yeah, they should give us some type of per diem. They should give us some type of spectator credit that when you go and purchase your Formula One passes, because you woke up and you was with us during testing, here's a nice $50 towards your Formula One ticket. That ain't shit. Let me tell you, parking by itself is $300 for a Formula One event. I'll bullshit you not. Parking pass for 3 days is $300 and something at a Formula One event. Formula One is very expensive to even attend. And some of the highest prices are here in the United States of America. It's crazy. I think just in stay, Formula One passes, and Formula One parking last season, I think I ended up spending just in that alone, probably plus car, probably like $5,000. $5,000 probably. Eating, car, stay, passes, parking. It's not cheap to go to a Formula One event by any means. It is not cheap. Not at all. And I do think some of those prices, they're out of hand. I think they need to restructure that. It's getting to the point where even avid spectators are not able to. You'd be surprised how many people probably do content on Formula One and never been to a Formula One event. And the prices are high. The shit's high. The shit's expensive. You know what I'm saying? You can't even blame it. It's expensive. You guys, some people have to save up through the year to attend a race for the following year. There needs to be something done about that. There definitely needs to be something done about that. That's just, it's getting crazy. But just like gas prices had skyrocketed at some point in time, and they saw that we would pay those gas prices, they see that people gonna pay these ticket prices. Williams in the garage. And so now seeing that, they like, why take the prices down? They willing to pay it. Keep raising it. Let's raise it until we see that viewership, not even viewership, but attendance is going to fall. If we don't see a fall in attendance and we increasing our profit margins, we not changing that. We're not doing that. We gonna keep charging y'all ass. That's what they gonna keep doing. So yeah, let's take a look at these boards. for another time as we are here. And right now, Charles is at the top. Alonso, Valtteri, Albon, Yuki, K-Mag, Verstappen out there. He's in the pits, but he's out in this session. Russell, Ocon, and Pia. That's my driver. Pia is my driver. When Lewis Hamilton leaves, Piastri, that's my driver right now. He's my second driver that I root for. So, Lewis Hamilton's the first, Pia, and then I like Charles. Ben already said, Albon. No, Albon is before Charles. So to me, it's Lewis Hamilton, it's Piastri, Albon, and then Charles. Those are my drivers right there. So yeah, I was advocating for Perez at one point in time when he was being picked on, but when Perez just sat there and kept getting punched in the face, and then I kept taking up for him, I said, you know what, you were wrong, man, bro. You gonna let him punch you in your face? I guess that's what type of time you want. I guess that's what you want in your life. You want to be punched in the face all the time. So can't keep advocating for somebody who's not going to even advocate for themselves. He let Helmut Marko talk to him crazy. He let Max Verstappen talk to him crazy. He let Max Verstappen do him on track crazy and just didn't ever come back. He let Max Verstappen mama talk about his relationship with his wife crazy. I mean, how many things do you need to have happen before you get a backbone and stand up for yourself in the public eye? In the public eye, because in public, they was disrespecting you. In public, Max was saying, I ain't doing shit for you as far as team orders. In public, Helmut Marko said you was drunk on the court. On the track. In public, Helmut Marko didn't even know where the hell you was from. In public, they did this. So until I see Perez stand up for himself in public, I just don't have a lot of hope that he's going to have that backbone to buck up and say, hey, bro, I deserve my opportunity. Show us, tell us what's going on, man. For real, let's stop these shenanigans. But hey, this morning. It's not over yet. You all keep testing. We will be back later. We will come back later on a live and talk about some things going on with this. This is just day one, the first morning session. The afternoon session will be here. So we will likely try to come back around then to see what might happen later on today. And if not, come back and do something. Now, we will have a Wolves Den coming up as well this week on Saturday, talking about everything that's going on with testing. So that's going to be very interesting. So y'all make y'all notes. I already know Mary Beanie. She making her notes. Okay, she do notes all the time. So big shout out to y'all. And look forward to speaking with y'all about this. We're going to get live again. Right now on these boards, Charles is at the top. Alonso second. Valtteri's third. I don't know if that's going to last the whole time. And yeah, we're going to look to see. Right now, we are watching to see Mercedes, hellified improvement, because we're looking to see if they're going to have a year where they're going to run up champion. We're looking to see Ferrari, hellified improvement. We're looking to see if Red Bull, with these changes, are just going to be more dominating. And I'm looking to see if Williams is going to be on a leaps and bounds, okay? So y'all stay clued in. I will be back later on. Peace and love. Wolfpack out. Peace.